Hi friends, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be making a pendant that doubles as a fidget pendant with this blue tiger's eye sphere or Hawkeye sphere, or just flash on it. So to get started, you're going to need a sphere of your choosing, and let's get our tools. Tweezer nose pliers, flush cutters, and of course our nylon pliers. And for this tutorial, we're going to be using 18 gauge round copper dead soft wire, as well as a 26 gauge round dead soft copper wire. So to get started, let's grab our 18 gauge. If you have a smaller sphere, you're more than welcome to use smaller gauges of wire as well for your base wires. Now, like you would start any other pendant, to measure how much wire you're going to need, you're going to give yourself enough slack that you have enough space to make a bail with. And we're going to actually do a rounded bottom on this one. You can either point the bottom or round the bottom. We're going to go ahead and round it to the shape of our sphere here. So if this wire goes about halfway around, we're going to need it to go to about here. So that length of wire is about half of the length we're going to need to create this pendant. So just eyeballing it, go ahead and double the length of that wire and cut. And I always double the length and then give myself a little extra as well. Little wiggle room to play with. Now we're going to use that first piece of wire and cut 3 additional pieces. Just like that. We got 4 all together. Now I'm gonna get my 26 gauge round copper wire. And you can use half round to bind these together. You can use 26 gauge or you can use 28 gauge, whatever you're comfortable with to bind your base wires together. I'm actually gonna do a small little weave on the bottom of this, so our sphere has something a little bit wider to sit on. So for this, I'm just going to start out wrapping 3 times around, add in our next wire, get them lined up on one side, 1 time around just that second wire, then we'll add in our next, one time around that third wire, add in our last and final wire, and 1 loop around, if I can get my wire to cooperate. That final wire. Now we're going to bring the weaving wire all the way down to the bottom and start that pattern over. So once around the bottom, once around wire number 2, once around wire number 3, and once around wire number 4. And then back down to the bottom, around 1, around 2, around 3, oops, and around wire number 4. We're going to continue this pattern until it's wide enough that the base of our sphere can sit on. So I'm going to keep going on this and I will be back when the pattern's wide enough for our sphere. Okay, welcome back. So now that you've got your weave pattern wide enough, I like to do it wide enough so that when it bends, it comes up the sides just a little bit. And if you're just binding all 4 together and not doing a weave pattern, you can do the same width on it as well. To finish this weave off, just like we started with 3 wraps around the bottom one here, we're going to do the same thing on this side. 1, 2, and 3. Middle finger below those 3, index finger above, thumb on top. And with your other hand, you're going to pull and wiggle. And it'll break for you and break smooth. Now, on this side, we're going to do the same thing. Wiggle right above. Okay, now to double check that this is pretty centered on our wires, I like to use our handy dandy measuring tool. So where the weave stops, right at my nail, it goes down about mid-palm. We'll flip it over. Right about my nail, right about mid-palm. If it's not in the middle for you, you should be able to slide the weave or your binding wraps pretty easily. If not, you should be able to slide 1 wire at a time pretty easily. It's not too big of a deal if it's not dead center, as long as you've got enough wire on either side to be able to make your pendant with still. Okay, so now we need to bend this to the shape of our sphere. If you happen to have one of these handy dandy mandrels nearby, you can absolutely use that. Make it a lot easier for you. Just find the correct size to your sphere and bend it around there. But in case you don't, let's do it without. So the pattern we did, you can very obviously see the back because we've got the wires going straight down the back, whereas the pattern is there. I like both sides, but you can choose which one you'd like. So I'm just holding the sphere and the wire together with one hand, and then we're going to bend it with the other hand. Now give yourself some time and some patience with this, because since you're bending around a sphere, it can easily move and wiggle on you. So, there we are. I'm just gonna pop it back in, make sure it's the right size of where I want it to be. Make any adjustments you need. And I'm just gonna squeeze these wires together here. We can go ahead and zigzag them a little bit. Left side, right side, left side, right side. So they're not getting too bent out of shape for us. There we go. So now to keep them that way, I just like to put a finger in between them so that they don't bounce back apart. Let's put our sphere back in the middle. It's nice and snug in there, which is a good sign. And I'm just going to bring those wires down to where I would like my pendant or my bail to start on my pendant. So about there. We're going to pop our sphere out and leave your finger there. Take your tweezer nose pliers, or your nylon pliers will work for this too. Right where those wires crisscross, we're going to pinch and take our finger out. This is going to create a little crease in both sides of the wire. So now you know where to bend them away from each other. So it's the same size as where you had it. Just like that. All right, we're going to get that same 26 gauge round wire. Index finger in between, middle finger on top, thumb on bottom. We're going to take our weaving wire, put it under that thumb on the bottom to hold it in place. Wrap once around your bottom set of wires, and then 3 times around both, still holding those wires nice and flat up against each other. And then you get to pick which wire you're going to create your bail with. I'm going to go with the second wire back. So we're going to get the other 3 out of the way on both sides. And I'm going to go ahead and do a figure 8 weave tutorial, or weave on this bail. I do have a figure 8 weave tutorial in another video, so if you need to watch that, go ahead and pause this, go watch that tutorial, and then come on back so we can finish up. But I'm going to go ahead and pause here and finish the bail. Alright, welcome back. So I just finished securing our bail after the figure 8 weave. So now the important part is setting that sphere in there so it doesn't pop out but can still move on you. So we're going to flip this over to the back. Now typically when you're setting a cabochon, you're going to bend these in, just straight in towards each other. The important part on this one is you're going to bend in and pull out. So we'll go ahead and grip that last wire, bend in, and pull out. And we'll do that same thing over here. Bend in, pull out. Now, we've got a bigger sphere, so obviously that isn't going to be far enough, but we're going to pop our sphere in there, and then we're going to give it a push. And do this gently and slowly, checking on where your sphere is sitting. You want these wires to sit towards the middle of your sphere. So we're still going to go a little bit further, right about there. Now we're going to go ahead and bend our front wires over our sphere, same way we did in the back. So we're not just going in, we're going in and out, so it goes over our sphere. It's a little bit easier on the front because you're just gliding along the shape of the sphere. So now you can see our sphere is not going anywhere, but it still spins pretty dang easy. Now the fun part, you just get to design however you want. You can go back and adjust your wires if you don't feel comfortable with where they're sitting and want to push them in a little bit further, out a little bit further, whatever you need to do. Just keep double checking that it's not too tight so that your sphere still spins, but then give it the good old wiggle test to make sure it's not going to pop out front or back. So let's just do a quick little curl design on this one, and then we can call it done. Now this is the fun part because you get to design the top of this however you would like. There we go, and just like that, we've got a real simple fidget pendant. I hope this helps. I can't wait to see you guys make them. Thank you for watching.